Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode. Today, we're going to be talking about Anycubic's M7 Pro. Is it Pro? Well, yeah, it is. But Anycubic is kind of selling it as I want to say, entry-level printer for those who are looking to get started in the printing world. And I've got to be 100% honest with you folks. I don't think that this is a printer that you should run out and go buy if you have never messed with resin printing before. There are a couple reasons for that. One is because it uses a refilling system, which is absolute pain in the butt to change out. And I just hate doing it. I make a mess every time. There's the heated VAT system, which is nice. There's the intelligent release system, and there's also the auto leveling. We'll talk about all of that. Now, you know me, I don't do unboxings and demonstrations and stuff like that. That doesn't really matter. As far as I'm concerned, it's the technical aspects of the printer versus the cost. Now, an M7 and an M7 Pro are virtually the same. They have about, I think it's the same exact build volume. I'm not exactly, I'd have to check my notes here. Yes, it is the same exact build volume. So they are the exact same build volume, and the difference in price would normally be about $200. The M7 Pro would cost you about $689, whereas the M7 would cost you about $429. Currently, they're both on sale on Amazon. You can actually get them for a lot better prices. So if you are looking to buy one, and this video sells you, go hop on there now, quick, before the sale ends. I'm not really sure what the sale is. I guess it's too late to get it for Christmas sale, something like that. Whatever the case may be. Anyway, the M7 is a really nice printer. It has a very nice upgraded light matrix system that's very quick printing. If you're using the fast resin, it's even faster. I print with texture resin, so I slow it down as I do with most of my printing, whether I'm using uh, a DLP style resin or I'm using the texture resins or some other mixture of the two, ABS or wax style resin. So I always slow it down. But with this particular printer, you don't really have to slow it down too much. Its light system is just spot on every time. Works very well. The intelligent release system also works very well. Um, I wasn't really sure how that worked at first. It works. I don't use it a lot, but it does work. Um, if we're going to talk about other factors of it, it's large, so it will take up a bit more room than your standard little home printer like the M7, the M4 or the M2, or even the DLP printers before it. So it is a bit larger. And I say a bit larger, it's a lot larger. It has a build size that is much bigger than those printers, though. So I think that's why Anycubic's kind of pushing it as like a, hey, you get this for your entry level. You can make like entire model kits in one go. Now let's talk about the auto leveling. So I've always kind of been against auto leveling printers. And I'll be completely honest, I was super hesitant about using this printer out of the box without leveling it. But it came with a little piece of paper, and that little piece of paper swore up and down that it was going to be leveled. It worked for about the first 3 or 4 prints. And then it started slipping off, the raft started slipping off the plates. So I started having issues there first. That was the first issue. Then I had to manually level it. Now, once you start manually leveling the printer, you will start running into an issue where the printer now starts to detect residue every time it wants to print, no matter what. I don't know if this is a glitch because the way you're leveling with the piece of paper maybe is thinner than the VAT FEP sheet, and therefore uh, what you're getting an absolute slight difference, and so the build plate, when it pushes down, it feels like there's something in the way, and so it says, "Oh, residue." So essentially, you get a residue warning. You can try to adjust this. I've been able to fix this once, and then the next print, it gave me the same error. Well, I'm not really sure if that's just a glitch in general. Maybe there's a firmware update we can look up later to see if that might be the case, but it's kind of annoying, I'll be honest. So yes, does work out of the box. Doesn't work for very long, not at least in my opinion, based on my use. I got about 3 or 4 prints out of it before the raft started slipping on the left side. So then I re-leveled, worked fine for about 3, 4 prints, then started slipping on the other side. Okay, got another 3, 4 prints, started slipping in the middle. So essentially, it's going to slip, and because it's a larger format printer, you're going to get a lot more mass suction when you're pulling up. And the cool thing about it is because it's a professional printer, it does have a lot more tools. Like I said, it has a resin refill reservoir, which it's great because if you have big prints, big parts, it's wonderful for that. But the changing process involves you taking one of Anycubic's bottles, and it has to be theirs because the cap fits their bottle. It has these 2 tubes in it that have to secure into the bottle that then get screwed on. These caps then get attached to 2 hoses that get attached to the refill system. Now, mind you, the refill system is sitting in the printer. You can detach it. It's connected by a little USB port. Moving this thing around will sometimes get resin everywhere because if you detach the hose, resin's going to come out of the hose. If you detach the piece, the unit itself, resin's probably going to jiggle out of the nozzle of the actual dispenser. When you take off the cap to remove that to change out the resin or fill the bottle, you're definitely going to get resin everywhere. Or at least you're going to get it on places. So you have to be prepared for that. Use a lot of silicone mats, paper towels, and wear gloves. I mean, you should always wear gloves anyway, but you're going to need something to put all that on. That's just a warning for anybody who wants to use the refill system. Now, if you choose to use the air filtration system instead of the refill system, that's fine. I actually think that's a good alternative, to be honest. Sometimes I don't need the refill system, so I'll actually turn refilling off, and I'll just let the print, and I'll just fill the printer manually. I won't even bother with making the refill system do anything, and that bottle of resin will sit there for a while. Now, I'm not saying the M7 Pro is a bad printer. It's not, but it's not for beginners. I don't think so personally. If you want a good beginner printer, go get a Mono 4, or the 4 Ultra. Those are excellent entry level printers. They're good size. I think it's about a 6.9 inch build area. I think it's like 7 inches maybe total, but it's just under 7 inches if I'm not mistaken. It's a 14K printer. It might be a 10K printer actually. I might be mistaken. I think it's a 10K printer. I think the print resolution is 17 microns, which is beautiful. Uh, it's just an excellent printer. It works really well, and it's really user friendly for beginners. You just have to make sure with that printer. The only caveat that I ever give people warnings with the M4 series, you have to level it tight, and I mean tight, tight, tight. Um, Essentially, when you level the printer, you're gonna want to lower it manually about 0.01, like a micron, maybe about 2 or 3 times until that leveling paper is just so wedged in there that you can't move it. And don't worry, you're not going to crack your screen or nothing. It's trust me, you want it to be tight. For whatever reason, the material that build plate is made out of, and the M7 has the same stuff. It's really, I want to say it's anti-stick. So the FEP and the build plate, neither one of them want to hold on to anything because the FEP is really good too, but the build plate's also really good in release. So they're both good at releasing. You really want the build plate to hold. I've tried sanding one. That didn't really. It had some effect. It seemed to work for a while, but I actually went back to using one of the original ones. And my technique is I bring it down, I level it, I do the manual 4-point leveling, and then from there, I'll go to with the menu where you're moving it already. Just go to the 1 micron setting and lower it about maybe 3 or 4 times. Like I said, until that piece of paper is not going to move at all. You're set. Now, in the M7 Pro, you can't even do that because if you try to lower it too many times, the system thinks that there's something in the way. And it says, nope, sorry, you can't do that. So it doesn't even really let you force the plate down to tighten it to really get a tight contact, which I kind of like to do with my printers to make sure, because one of the things that with my resins, they're very viscous. I like to make sure that there's a really, really good contact with those couple initial layers, especially. That makes a huge difference having a solid raft. Um, anyway, back to the M7 though. Like I said, it's a good printer for professionals. I think that's why they call it the Pro. It's a very good setup. The refill system, the air filtration optional, like I said. You have the heated system, which is great if you live in colder areas, which circulates the resin to heat it up. Now, if you don't want to use the heating systems, a lot of people complain, oh, I don't want to use the heating system. You don't have to. You can actually get an M7 vat and remove the M7 Pro vat that has a little heater box. Boom, put the other vat on there, screw that down, and every other function will work just fine except for the heating. You'll get a little yellow mark on the thing that indicates, oh, the vat's not here. The printer's going to think the vat's not there. But you're pretty much going to tell it to ignore the heating process or anything that has to do with it, and it'll be fine. I don't recommend doing this, though. I do recommend using the one with the heating device. You will get good use out of it. I know some people have complained they don't like the way it works, but I think that it's pretty functional for the way it works. Now, the Mono 7, if you're looking to spend less money and you don't want to get the Pro version of the printer, the Mono 7 is still a very, very good printer. It still has a lot of good functionality. Um, I do believe it still offers the auto leveling, which essentially uses a bunch of sensors and springs. It does seem to work pretty well. Like I said, for the first couple of prints, and then after a while, I think just the pulling and pushing, because of the rate at which maybe it's just the amount of work I'm putting on my printer. But after 3, 4 prints, it did knock it out of level, and you will probably have to level it. The filling system is great, but it's a bit of a pain in the butt to fill the bottle or change it out. You're going to wind up making some sort of a mess. Um, so that is something to consider too if you want to get this printer for yourselves. All right, it's a very large format. It's not like the M7 Max large, but it's a pretty large format. For those of you that are looking to get a larger than the M4, if you already have an M4 or something like it, this would definitely be on the larger side. We're going to take a look at the build plate too in Lychee. I'll show you exactly kind of how you can make use of it and how big it is as well to give you guys an idea. All right, so we'll take a look at the M7. Here we're looking at the M7 Pro. Now, I use this printer quite a lot for larger objects. Like I said, it's a pretty large format printer. So if you are looking for something on the larger side, this is pretty good. Now I'm going to show you how you can utilize a printer of this size to take advantage of it, because we're talking 14K detail. So this is not, uh, this is not a low resolution. This is good. This is going to give you high quality. And so this is one model here. I can fit quite a lot of it. We're trying to figure out here how many prints this would be if I was to do this all on the M7. See, did I get it all? There you go. You'd have everything done in 3 prints. Versus if you were trying to do this on the M4, you probably have to do, I would say, 7 or 8. So, more than double the amount of print time for something of this size. So, the size advantage of something this large is pretty good. Now maybe I misread Anycubic. Maybe what they meant to say was your entry level into the larger format of printing. This isn't the first one that they've made this size though, because the X2, I believe the 6KX and the 6K, all three of those actually had about 9-inch screens. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they were a little smaller. I had some of those printers too, so you think I'd remember. But it's not the biggest one they've ever made either. The M7 Max is the currently one of the largest ones they make for resin. And although it is a beautiful package with a nice swing cover, I don't really have the space for a printer that large right now in my workshop, and I don't have a need for one that big. So I'm just gonna pass on that one for the moment until I find the need for it. But for now, I think I'm going to stick with the M7 Pro, my M4s, and my old trusty 4Ks that are still running somehow. I don't even know how many years. I've had some of those printers that they're still churning out prints like little workhorses. So anyway, my takeaway from the M7 Pro, is it for beginners? No. Is it for pros? Absolutely. Is it for anyone looking to get into a larger format printer who wants one with some decent features? Yes, heck yes, absolutely. I think there's a lot of functionality to it, and I think once you learn its little nuances and you figure out, that you will have to level this thing every couple prints, you're going to be good. But try to get it on sale. Normally, it's a lot more expensive than it is, and when I purchased the one that I have, I did not pay full price. $689, I believe, is what they're normally charging. I paid $589. Right, currently now it's almost $100 less. So grab one if you want one. Now's the time. But if you're looking for something and you're entry level and you really just want to get started, the Model 4 or the Model 4 Ultra, great place to get started. My suggestion would be to start with those. The reason there is it's smaller, less issues, less stuff to worry about, no refilling system. Um, just less stuff to worry about in general. So that's my takeaway. I still think the M7 Pro deserves at least an 8 out of 10. It is a wonderful printer. It does wonderful jobs printing. It is 14K. It produces beautiful prints. I use it for a lot of my work, a lot of my customer work, my test print work. So I do kind of stand next to the Anycubic brand still. I know a lot of people hate on them. I still love these printers. I don't know. They do their job, and they're pretty darn cheap. So if you guys are in the market for a nice 14K printer, I think the M7 Pro might be a consideration. But if you don't want with all that functionality, if you don't need all that extra stuff, look at the M7, not the Pro. It's about $100 less. Check that out. See if that suits what you're looking for. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, guys. Have a happy holidays, and we'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.